So can we check and have that screen enabling done for me?
Okay, just 1 second. Let me just look into it. So 1 second.
Sure, sure, sure.
What's the login ID that you're using there, sir? What's...
Nitesh Shankar.
Okay.
So there will be two Nitesh Shankars. Just 1 second.
Hello?
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't work well. Okay, now let me just start the video of the other one as well. Yeah, so for the one where video is enabled, you can enable the screen for that one.
Just 1 moment, sir. Just 1 moment, sir.
Sure, sure, sure. Take your time.
Yes, sir. Now I can see both your screens, sir.
Okay, just a second. Let me. Yes, enable the video for this screen.
Okay.
Sorry, enable the screen for this one. जहाँ पे मेरा वीडियो दिख रहा है, I want that to be shared.
Yes, sir. Are you able to repeat, sir?
I'll just see. No, I can't do screen sharing. I think probably they have used a wrong one. So from the ID in which you can see my video, I want the screen to be enabled for that one.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me know if it's done.
Hi, am I audible to all the panelists there? Okay. Just checking if Gautam, you're online. Hey, Gautam. Yeah, you can hear me okay? Yeah, thank you. So I think we're good to start.
A very good morning to everyone. I'm Dr. Preeti Stanley, Associate Professor of BMS College of Commerce and Management. And it gives me great honor on behalf of the college and the Corporate Communication and Career Development Department to welcome each one of you present here, the dignitaries on the dais, and who are joining us online, the faculty members, students, and all the special invitees who have come here and been able to join this panel discussion. So to begin with, I would request our principal, sir, to kindly render the welcome address.
A very warm good morning to everybody present over here offline and also people who are online with us. We are here today for the panel discussion, and I'm sure all of you would be enjoying this entire hybrid mode of panel discussion because that's the need of the hour today. So it's my privilege to welcome each one of you present over here offline who are there in the seminar hall with me, along with the panelists and also people. And this is also going online on facebook.com, also on the page of BMS College of Commerce and Management. So on behalf of BMS College of Commerce and Management and BMS Education, each one of you present over here, especially the panelists, I'll start with Dr. Hare Krishna Maram, who is there with us. He is the Digital Brand Ambassador and Chairman of Vision Digital India. So may I request Lekha to kindly come and welcome sir with a flower bouquet. We also have with us Mr. Vinay Trivedi. He's the Chief Human Resource Officer at ToneTag. May I request Manu Natesh to kindly come on stage and welcome sir with a flower bouquet. And we also have with us here on stage Mr. Hitesh Thakral, who's the moderator for this entire panel discussion. He's a chartered accountant by profession, certified financial planner, and also finance manager at Penny. So may I request Preeti Stanley to kindly welcome Mr. Hitesh with the flower bouquet. Now, I would also like to welcome people who are online. Of course, we'll not be able to extend the bouquet to you, but then we are very much there online with you. So I'll start off with, we can always show you that. But then we have with us online one of our panelists, Mr. Gautam Shetty. He is EPEC Head of Talent Acquisition at Merck. So heartily welcome to you, sir.
Thank you.
We also have with us Mr. Yogesh Bhatt, who's founder of SVP Masai School. So heartily welcome to you, sir.
Thank you.
And a very near and dear friend of mine. We are childhood friends. I don't want to tell the number of years we are associated together. Mr. Nitesh is the head of Life and Career Development Center at Manav Rachna Educational Institution. So heartily welcome to you, Nitesh. I would also
Thank
like
you
to
so much.
welcome
And namaskaram.
Namaskaram to you too.
Yeah.
I would also like to welcome on behalf of the chairman of this college, because he's not here for some preoccupied reason. So I would like to welcome the chairman of this college, Mr. Aviram Sharma, the donor trustee and member secretary of this institution, Dr. B.S. Ragini Narayan Madam, the director admin, director finance, and all the dignitaries who are there online with us. for this particular panel discussion. And of course, my faculty members and a few of the students who have joined us for this panel discussion here, I would extend my heartfelt welcome to each one of you. Can you turn the camera and show the other people also behind slowly? Super. All right. I'm sure this discussion is going to be very, very fruitful to all of you. I wish all the best to all the panelists over here, and let's have the session going on in a big way.
Thank you so much, sir. I would request Mr. Ramesh to kindly come and welcome sir with a flower. To begin on a positive note, I would request all the dignitaries on the dais to kindly do the lamplight. Thank you so much for bringing in a positive vibe. To move on, I would request Namita Korwar and Aditya to kindly render the invocation song. panel discussion. So before that, I would like to introduce Mr. Hitesh Takral, who's going to moderate the entire panel discussion for today. I would like to give you a brief introduction about Mr. Hitesh. He's a chartered accountant and a certified financial planner working with J.C. Penney as a finance manager. In the past, he has worked with companies like Goldman Sachs and KPMG. He is a visiting faculty at BMS College of Commerce and Management and an expanded trainer with the Institute of Company Secretaries of India. It's a great honor to over to you, and hope we have a great panel discussion.
Hello. Just checking if I'm audible to the panelist. Yeah, thank you so much. So first things first, let me just start by introducing my panel to you today. We have Dr. Hari Krishna Maran, brand ambassador and chairman of Vision India. He's also the vice chancellor of Global Digital University, United States of America, and the president of Lead India Foundation. Apart from being an academician and educationist par excellence, there is also the chief mentor of a CSR project called Bangalore Green, which aims at environmental conservation of. And I'm sure our future generations are going to be very thankful and grateful to you for this endeavor. He's also one of the 50 most admired global Indians in the world. It's a privilege to have with you us today. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. Next, we have Vinay Trivedi, who's the Chief Human Resources Officer at ToneTech. He has 14 plus years of experience in the fields of talent management, talent acquisition, talent engagement across IT and finance sectors. Well, on a lighter note, there's something that three of us, i.e. Vinay, our current Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, and I, three of us have something in common, which is that we are all three fellow Gujaratis, right? So, Kem Cho, everyone? Majama, right? So, you know, if you ever need advice in life or which stock to buy in share market or where to put your money on, feel free to sort of reach out to any of us. But don't call Narendra Modi for sure. You know, I'm not sure if he'll answer your calls. I think he's tied up with larger agenda right now. He's Gujarat only right now. Okay, I'm sure, sir, you are closer to him than the rest of us. So, you know, thank you so much. So that's on a lighter note. Thank you so much, Vinay, for your time, and I appreciate you taking time out today. Thank you. Next, so that was our panelists present on the stage on the dais. Next, we have, can I see Gautam on screen, please? Yeah. Yeah, I just want to be able to see Gautam.
Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you, Gautam. Give us a minute. We'll just put you up on the television set in front of me as well. Right? Okay. Right? Okay, so yeah, I can see you, Gautam. So we have Gautam Shetty, who's joining us from Bangalore today. He's the Asia Pacific head of talent acquisition and employment branding at Maersk. He's a seasoned HR professional with a background in leading recruiting teams, right? So if you need a job, you know who to reach out to, right? Okay, so that's Gautam Shetty. Well, on a personal note again, Gautam is a great friend of mine to whom I shall forever be indebted, because the job that I currently have, which is finance manager at J.C. Penney, which I genuinely believe is the best job I've ever had in my limited career, Gautam is the one who hired me for that job. You have special gratitude and acknowledgement for me, Gautam, right? And there's this fun fact about Gautam, which most people don't know, and I'm sure including you also, Vinay, so I'll tell you something. Gautam in his early years, okay, you know that, fine. So, okay, so Gautam in his early years was actually into modeling. So if everyone can see Gautam on the screen, I think we are not surprised, right, why he was into modeling. And he has in fact played a role in a Kannada movie called Aishwarya, which starred, guess who? Deepika Padukone, our Namma Bengaluru very own girl, and superstar Upendra. So that is Gautam, an ex-model, an ex-actor, and current talent acquisition head for you. Welcome to the session, Gautam. We really appreciate you taking time out. Thank you.
Thank you, Hitesh.
Yeah, and there's one thing I missed, sorry, which is that Gautam represents the HR team and I am from the finance background. So we work together closely at J.C. Penney. So contrary to the popular perception that, you know, HR and finance don't get along, we have managed to stay friends till date. And at least that's what I believe, Gautam. I'm not sure about you. So correct me if I'm wrong there.
You're correct. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been here today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Moving on, we have Yogesh Bhatt, who's the co-founder and senior vice president at Masai School. Can we have Yogesh up here? Sandeep, can we have Yogesh up on the screen, please? Yes. Yogesh is the co-founder and senior vice president of, Masai School, which is a 21st century career-focused coding school. And he has over 25 years of experience in varied fields of sales, learning development, operations across industries and geographies. Now, more importantly, we have Yogesh with us here today because of my boss Padmini, who helped us connect with Yogesh. And for that reason alone, Yogesh, you have my special attention today, all right? And for obvious reason. And I just want to make sure that you go back and say very amazing things about me when you talk to Padmini and Param. And hope you'll do that.
I'll take care of it.
All right, finally, last but definitely not the least, we have Nitesh sir with us. And I was joking with sir that the only thing that separates my name and your name is H versus N, Nitesh, and who's joining us from Delhi. He's the head of Life and Career Development Center at Manav Rachna University. He has done executive MBA from IIM Calcutta, well, no less, and he's a Cambridge certified training professional. He has 20 years of experience in companies like Convergys, Microsoft, HSBC, and so on. He has trained about 2 lakh people till date in 20 years of his career. And I was joking with sir that, sir, I would very much like to be the 2 lakh 1th person to be trained by you, given your extensive experience in this industry. And here's a fun fact about Nitesh sir as well. During his growing up years, sir used to actually be a child artist, and he used to compare at All India Radio and Doordarshan stations in Delhi during his class 6 to class 12. And so as a 90s kid, sir, whenever I hear the words All India Radio and Doordarshan, I suddenly feel a brush of nostalgia, which I'm sure most people can relate to, at least who are born in the 90s. It's great to have you with us here today. As you can see, we have no dearth of talent and diversity on this panel. So that's the introduction of the panel today. And without further ado, let's just get to the business at hand. So the topic for the day, as you guys already know, is pedagogical methods involving technology and education for future readiness. Now, honestly, the first time you saw this topic, I'm sure you Googled what is pedagogy, right? And I'll help you out there. Pedagogy means science of teaching. It's the methods and techniques employed for teaching. So now, with our esteemed panel today, we are going to deliberate on a couple of issues, including how technology can really help us elevate the quality of education. Plus, by extension, how does that help our students to be more employable, more job ready, so that they can deal with the environment which is ahead of them, right? So now we'll jump straight into the questions and the panel discussion. So we'll start with you, Dr. Hari. We have the mic, right? Yes, okay. So Dr. Hari, you know, there's this, so Alvin Toffler, who's an American writer and an entrepreneur, he's written extensively on digital revolution. And here's an interesting quote from him, that the literate people of 21st century are not going to be those who can read and write. These are going to be the people who can learn, unlearn, and relearn. Technology seems to be changing radically every 3 years, and never in the history of our civilization we have felt the need for upskilling and reskilling so urgent and necessary. So, sir, I would like to know from you, what role does technology play in helping our students constantly upskill, constantly reskill, so that they can cope with the ever-changing landscape which they have ahead of us? Yes, sir.
So I would like to take this opportunity to appreciate and congratulate Professor Pankaj for taking this initiative and bringing all of us a wonderful esteemed panel and wonderful moderator Hitesh to be part of this very relevant topic for today. because today I think as on present numbers, we have closely 61.2 million people got affected with COVID. And when it comes to India, we already crossed now 10 million. And especially you talk on education. Today, closely 1.5 billion students across the world, from primary education to the doctoral programs, the PhD, are unable to attend the regular classes in the classroom. So the entire world is moved to technology. In the last, I think, closely 7 months now, we are unable to go to campuses. So crores of money and a lot of space, a lot of infrastructure, which is invested by 90% of the institutes across the world, including the top institutes like Harvard, Kellogg's, Wharton, or Cambridge. They are completely now unable to use their facility, including the stakeholders like the promoters or faculty or admin staff. They are unable to come to campus and use the facilities, whatever are there. So now entire thing is moved to online. So when it comes to India, we are one of the largest education system in the world with more than 1,000 plus universities and 52,000 colleges, 982,000 primary schools, and we don't have exact number of how many play schools and LKG, all these kind of things are there, but all together we have closely 36.5 crore students. Again, they are facing a similar kind of a situation. So when the lockdown started, when the pandemic is just started, affecting the people, then we are not ready because these all pandemics suddenly happened across the world and things going worse. Until now, we don't have any clarity on when we are going to start the regular face-to-face classes in the classroom. And when it comes to the primary education, again, we don't know whether this year is going to be classes or no classes. Yesterday, we had a meeting by the Karnataka government, all the higher officials. Again, there is no clarity. So what is happening now is entire shift is happening towards, I can say, a digital shift. It's a digital transformation move, what we are talking. And when Hitesh was talking about human civilization, here I just want to give one example of three things in this entire world which changed the human civilization, the way we live. And these three things include starting with invention of computer.
Right.
This happened, I think, I don't know exactly which year.
70s was it?
Yeah. So, but IBM is the company which discovered the first computer. I think what I see from pictures is the first computer which IBM discovered was something like bigger than this room where we are sitting, that much big. So now from that big, we came to the smart watches. From that big, just imagine we came to smart watches. So the second shift which happened in human civilization is the internet. So the penetration of internet. And the third biggest revolution which happened in the humankind is a mobile phone, which we are using now. Kind of penetration of mobile phone in human lives, which happened, no other product in this world affected so much.
Right.
Today, I think during this COVID time, the screen time is increased. I think the way people are using the mobile phone is increased, and the number of users are increased. The time we are spending in internet is increased. So this all credit goes to the kind of initiatives which brought by not only this government, so all the credit will not go to the Prime Minister. So, all the credit goes to even the previous.
I didn't claim that, sir, just to clarify.
So all the previous governments also, because it started, in fact, 25, 30 years back, is all the revolution, the telephone industry, how the landlines came to our lives.
Yeah.
So these all things change the way we are living today. These all help how we are living with the digital. So now when I talk with digital initiatives, I think, hope you are familiar with the Digital India.
Yeah.
So this movement is started exactly 5 years, 3 months back. And today, the Digital India brought a great revolution. In fact, yesterday, I was reading a wonderful book which was launched just last week about Aadhaar. I think everyone who was sitting here and
Yeah.
who are watching in YouTube or Facebook, the live or the Zoom, uh, I think all you are enrolled with Aadhaar and you have Aadhaar cards. Today, 1.25 billion people, that is 125 crore people, are connected with Aadhaar in India. And this is one of the greatest digital transformation in this world, with involving large number of people of enrolling, taking a lot of parameters.
Yeah.
So coming to education now again, so education today is mainly depending on technology. So when we talk about the faculty, when you talk about the students, 7 months back, we are not familiar with the Zoom. We are not familiar with Microsoft Teams.
Yeah.
Because we just heard, and a couple of people might have just experienced these tools.
Right.
And today, every common people. So today, the birthdays are celebrated using the Zoom. Today, the marriages are celebrated using the Zoom.
Panel discussions are happening using Zoom.
Yeah.
Sir.
Panel, yes, we are advanced because we know how to use this.
Right.
But I am talking about even a general, the vegetable seller is sending, he's all in that cart, what he's pulling, all whatever vegetables, he's connecting with the Zoom and sending all the pictures, not in WhatsApp. Now he is more advanced now.
Right.
So he's telling what vegetables you require out of this. So he's connecting and he's talking. So that's how, some of the tools become so popular.
Yeah.
So every opportunity, what I can say, every crisis gives an opportunity.
Yeah.
So in front of us, we have a couple of crisis situations where it's become an opportunity. One out of that is a recent one is a demonetization, which happened a couple of years back, just less than 2 years back.
Yeah.
And this demonetization made a couple of the payment gateway companies like
Yes.
Paytm, all these companies become so rich. And these all companies are not quite old companies. When you look at this company history, these are just less than 4 or 5 years of history.
Yeah.
With a very few people, and the market capitalization these companies made is a huge. And coming to again education, one of the finest example what I can give to you, all you people, again Namma Bangalore, the Baiju, where our Professor Pankaj lives, his house, his neighbor, Baiju Ravindran, is today valued at $12 billion. And that become #1 edu tech company,
Tech company in the world.
in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
Can you just imagine? 14 years back, maybe Pankaj and I know Baiju used to come to our colleges to chat and training programs. And we used to give 1,500 rupees per hour. I'm talking in 2003, 2004. Same Baiju.
Currently, some of us are getting that much, sir. Yeah. Sorry.
So now, just imagine the kind of opportunities. Yesterday, I was reading Times of India and Economic Times, the UNA Academy, which started again 4
Unacademy.
years back.
Unacademy. Yeah.
Unacademy. They are valued at $6 billion. So these are the kind of opportunities this digital transformation is giving.
Right.
And today, when we are talking about the 100 trillion economy of the world, where we had 20 to 25% kind of affected because of the COVID. And when you talk about Indian economy, 2.9 trillion, looking forward, making 5 trillion economy in the next 5 years. The only way we can able to reach is through digital transformation. And the digital transformation, the biggest player today is, again, education. The second greatest pillar is healthcare. So today, because you cannot go like how you were going earlier to all the hospitals. So today, the consultation is happening using Zoom again. All the doctors, all the reputed doctors from All India Institute of Medical Science to wherever you want. You can just take a consultation using the tools. And today, medicines are supplied to your home by using again technology. Today, groceries, the big basket again started from Bangalore, are supplied to your home again using the technology.
Right.
And Bangalore has become a kind of a care of address for these all technology initiatives. Today, when you talk about United States of America, which is having a largest economy in the world with a $21.5 trillion market capitalization, again, all the companies which are there in United States, the Silicon Valley, mainly the startups, our Bangalore is overtaken. Today, we are proud to say, just a week back, our Prime Minister inaugurated our Bangalore Tech Summit.
Yeah.
So where they announced the Apple phone, the iPhone, will be manufactured from Bangalore. And they are setting up 3 plants, one in Hoskote, second one is in Kolar, third one is in Whitefield. So all the Apple phone, the latest phones, will be manufactured in Bangalore and delivered across the world, more than 180 countries.
Right.
So this is a kind of technology initiatives which are happening. And students, what I see is a lot of panic. They were thinking whether we get a jobs because everywhere you talk about negativity. And especially when it comes to the Indian GDP, we are growing couple of weeks, minus 28. Again, we are back now. So again, people are worried whether companies will recruit people. What I would like to say here, during this COVID pandemic, that nothing to worry. India, we have a strong foundation, and we faced this kind of a crisis situation in earlier also. This is not a first time the COVID which is affecting us. We had so many experiences. If you look at last 100 years history of India as well as globally. So every challenge we faced, and we come out of with very positive kind of colors, and we are able to recover our economy. Same way, India will recover.
Yeah.
What talking about the vaccine again, a lot of development is happening today. The Prime Minister meeting the promoters. The next one is he's going to come to Serum in
Yes, sir.
Pune.
Yep.
The third one is in Hyderabad, Bharat
Yep.
Biotech. And these are the companies which are going to supply vaccine for 180 countries
Right.
in the world. And today the pharmaceutical industry, education industry, today our faculty, earlier they were restrained to only the classroom, 60 classroom. Today our faculty become a global faculty. Today they are competing with faculty at Harvard. With just 8-7 months experience, they're able to deliver the sessions so aggressively, so effectively. And I would like to close this question, just giving one example. Hope you might have heard of a university called Oxford. This is one of the oldest university in this earth, which is more than 1,000+ years history. So in this 1,000 years of history of Oxford, if you look at the number of students they enrolled till now, which is not crossed more than 2.5 million, where 5 years old edtech company called Coursera, called Khan Academy, they crossed more than 5 million in just 5 years. So that is the power of technology. That is power of digital transformation. What I would like to submit. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, sir. I think the number of statistics that you gave, Vinay and I were ready with our notepads and pen. I think already 10 points are noted here for our next discussion. But yes, sir, thank you so much for weighing in. I would like to go to Yogesh, and have him weigh in on the question of, so just to refresh, the question was, how do students keep up with the, changing times in terms of upskilling themselves? And I think given your experience of working with so many students recently, I would love to hear your thoughts, Yogesh.
Sure, Hitesh, thank you so much. Just to confirm, you're able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, we can see you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hitesh, I just want to pick up from where you quoted that on Alvin Toffler, while change is universal, but changing is personal. Right? The change happens all around us, but the question is how many of us really change? While actually we are in a crisis situation. I will give you some numbers.
Yeah, sure.
We graduate 1.5 million BTech engineers every year, 8.5 million graduates, that's 10 million plus. Do you know how many actually get into actual jobs, what they are doing? Less than 100,000 engineers get jobs. Less than maybe 1 million get actually the job what they actually study for. The question to ask here is why? The reason is very obvious. Reports after reports are coming. The Indian students are not skilled. We are obsessed with certificates. We are obsessed with degrees. The thesis on which our school is formed is skill is greater than degree. When a company gives you a job, they give you a job for your skill. They hire you for a skill. Gone are the days when a company will say, okay, you have a degree, you join me. I'll invest 6 months to 1 year to skill up, and then you deliver to us. I think that era is gone. If you don't have the requisite skills and you can't demonstrate that at the time of an interview, the chances of getting employed is very minuscule. So what is EduTech is trying to solve is we are changing the focus. If you talk about the Masai School, we are a 21st century coding school where you learn to earn, pay only when you get hired. We don't charge you a rupee. You go through the entire curriculum. Only when you get a 5 lakh and above salary, you pay to us. Otherwise, don't pay. 495, don't pay to us. Now, what can EduTech can do can disrupt the current model of education. The current model of education is you give me money, I give you an infrastructure, I give you content, you do with it whatever you want. We will do some amount of assessment as we go along. That doesn't work to build skills. The question to ask is, are we mapping what is required? Now, EduTech will force many of the traditional institutions to change the model. Because EduTech is all about disruption, ability to change, ability to bring in line what the industry wants. When all these things happen very nicely, you will see the change has to be done by the educators. The society has to change. Luckily, many companies, if you know that the eligibility criteria at Masai School is just 12th standard, 18 years to become a front-end engineer or a back-end engineer, because we feel coding is a skill just like cooking or swimming, right? So we test them on math and logic of high school. And if he's able to build in his skills, and we have seen transformation happening. And so far we have graduated 5 batches and 5 batches are ongoing. India needs to skill up because people do 4 years of computer science engineering. I'm sorry to say that they can't write one line of code. How do you expect the tech companies to hire them? Right? So I can't learn cooking by watching Sanjeev Kapoor and Kana Kazana on the YouTube channel. I need to go to my kitchen and start cooking. I can't learn swimming by reading books or watching Michael Phelps doing in the Olympic swimming pool. I need to get into the water. I think it's time to change. I think EduTech gives 4 things. One is the accessibility to everyone in this world. 2, affordability. Right? The third one is personalized learning is possible, where it is student-centric. And the fourth one, it can be outcome-driven. I think EduTech outcome-driven and can solve a lot of the questions that we are facing at the moment. Back to you, Hitesh.
Yeah, thanks for weighing in that. I think very important point that you addressed on skilling and the constant need for upskilling in everybody's life. Now, shifting gears a bit, I'll go to Gautam now. So one of the common refrains, from the industry is that majority of the students who are graduating year on year, they are not really job ready and they sort of lack the skills that are required to perform their jobs. So in fact, Gautam, I heard a stand-up comedian saying the other day that India takes 6 years of education to be an engineer, and the last 2 years is called Infosys, right? So that sort of highlights the importance of the corporate training or the relevance of how students can be ready for their jobs when they actually go and work. So Gautam, here's what I want to ask you. What can colleges like BMS College do better in terms of meeting the industry requirements, and how can technology help that endeavor?
Sure. Thanks, Hitesh, for the question. I'm just going to add to what Yogesh said. Right? He spoke about upskilling yourself on a regular basis, and that's the primary for any student, because I think the ecosystem is changing every day, and we need to catch up with the ecosystem. So I think there's a need for students to upskill on a regular basis, even if students are working, or there are team members working in the corporate scenario today. Even for them, I think upskilling is going to be key. It's not just for students. So I think we need to kind of make sure that upskilling happens, not only which is relevant to the industry, but upskilling happens even once you join the workforce. So upskilling is going to be the key for all future jobs that you want to apply for.
Right. I think, yeah, upskilling seems to be the answer where how students can be. Vinay, I would love to hear your thoughts as well, given that you represent the HR space. Yeah.
Can you pull up the chat window? I want to ask students a few questions, actually. If you could just pull up the chat window.
Right.
For everybody who's listening in, I have a question for you. How many states in the United States of America? You have 15 seconds. I want you guys to type your answers. And anybody here who wants to attempt can raise your hand. We will just sort of
Get the mic to you. Yeah.
take that. How many? 50? Anybody else? 54? 50? Okay. 51? Excellent. My next question, and you have only 10 seconds. And people who are sitting here, do you have a notebook and a pen with you? Where is it? Okay. Right? I mean, I've come here for a session and I have my notebook and a pen and I'm making copious notes because I believe if I have to say that I'm going to learn, unlearn, relearn, I better carry my notepad where I can make notes. Right? That's how you live what you say. Now, the next question that I have for people who are online and people who are here, please write down. I'll give you 15 seconds. How many states, union territories, and districts in India? States, union territories, and districts. Faculty members, I invite you also to attempt answering this. Let's see how many of you get this right. You're in the teaching side who are sitting here.
I'm going to keep quiet, by the way. Yeah.
How many states? 28 states, 8 union territories. Okay, 29, 7, 29, 7, 28, 9. My question was, how many states, union territories, and districts? And this is exactly the problem with our education system. The problem is as follows. You can stop answering, and anybody here who wants to attempt giving, people sitting in the audience? 734 districts.
Is according to Google that he just did now, I think.
No, close. Yeah, close. Okay. You're close. There are 28 states, 8 union territories, with Ladakh becoming a union territory, and J&K remaining where it is. 718 districts in India. You know why I'm bringing these questions up, or why I'm asking these questions, is I talk of the world, and Dr. Maram also spoke about Oxford, right? I have another question, by the way, chat window. We don't go to any sessions without making people work hard to listen to us, right? Which is the oldest university according to data available in human knowledge? You can write down your questions, answers, and raise your hand here, and people can type. Nalanda, excellent.
Yes.
Yeah, Nalanda. Swarna says Takshashila. The answer is Takshashila.
Oh.
How many people know that? And you know what? This university was set up somewhere in 700 BC. I don't even understand what 700 BC means in 2020.
Yeah.
In 700 BC, they had 10,500 students. They were teaching 60 subjects, including science, humanities, home science, crafts, arts, etc., etc. So diversity in thought and the vision to teach people multiple things existed in our country way back. The reason why I bring this up in an educational context today, and to the question why people are not industry ready, is because We want to only be at a superficial level.
Yeah.
United States, everybody will, tell 50, 50, 50. India, some will say union territories and states. One level down, districts. We don't know. Right? And that happens in real life as well. And why put so much pressure on students to upskill? Why can't faculties upskill? How many times have faculty done internships? How many times has faculty members gone to industry and worked to understand how workforce is changing every year so that they can come back and teach the students what is happening in the world, right? We expect students to do everything and we blame students for everything, but we don't want to take ownership. So as an institute, and if there's anything that this college needs to do after this session, is have two takeaways that they will implement and make things better for both faculty and students to appreciate so that they can become better. And corporates, I'll tell you, I'm sorry to say, we are very hypocrites, right? Corporates on one side say everything is going to become obsolete, technology is not going to remain the same, but we want students to come skilled. Like, you don't know what you're going to do 3 years after today, but you want students to come ready on day one. You should take students who can learn. You should take students who has the approach to unlearn and relearn, not take students who come ready-made. That's not the student's job. It's your job to teach them, because school will teach you ABCD. We forget the importance of ABCD. I'm talking so much because I've learned ABCD in school, right? Let's not forget that. I should know what to write with ABCD when I go. So if somebody says write black, I should be able to write black. If somebody says write white, I should be able to write white. That should be the approach. And that is how corporates have to look at students. That's my personal view.
That deserves a round of applause for sure. I think, Vinay has made some very, very pertinent points. And to just show that I am a good student, I've been taking notes, okay, Vinay? And I'm going to actually go back and at least try and upskill myself after this, after listening to all this, right? So now let's go over to Mr. Nitesh. So Nitesh, sir, here's the question I have for you. Right now, during the COVID times, all schools and colleges have gone online, which is rather by force and not choice, right?
Absolutely.
Because we don't have any other option. Now, even the corporates have sort of discovered that as long as you have a functioning laptop and an internet connectivity, it doesn't matter whether you're working from ITPL office in Whitefield or Goa Beach or your grandfather's house in Mandya. The work will go on, the show will go on. But here's my question. After we are done with this pandemic, and touch wood, we're all hoping it gets over soon, do you see online becoming like a mainstream way of imparting education, or you see sort of hybrid model emerging?
Thank you so much for the question, Hitesh. And I hope I'm audible to people.
Yes, you're audible, you're visible, yes.
Great, thank you so much. Well, when we talk about technology, I just had a very interesting experience right now. While the panel discussion was about to start, my system started resetting. And I was in the middle of nowhere.
Murphy's Law.
This is what technology also gives us. Okay. Now, since I'm from Delhi, और दिल्ली में एक बड़े ही कमाल के शायर थे, मिर्जा गालिब. Okay. So I'll try and say one couplet of Mirza Ghalib. Okay. So the couplet is
Irshad.
जिंदगी भर भूल गालिब ये करता रहा, धूल थी चेहरे पर और आईना साफ करता रहा. So coming to what we are doing and how we are doing, yes, it's important that we do a retrospection. Right now, the speakers said a very important topic. In fact, he told us that why only students should upskill? Why not the teachers, the people who impart knowledge, have to look at themselves, do their internships? Yeah. So, and I quite agree with you, sir. And it's not just about the students only. It's about how we impart our knowledge. Okay. Now, coming back to the question, to answer this question, I did a survey, and we roughly surveyed about 140 students. And I'll just show you what the results show. Allow me to share my screen.
Yep.
Okay. Now, okay, another technological issue. The host has disabled my screen share.
Sandeep, Kiran, it's enabled now, sir. Can you try?
Okay. I've logged in with another ID which says Nitesh Shankar. वहां पे आप login करवा दीजिए.
Yeah, Kiran, can you enable that, please?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just see. Not really. Let me just first.
Is he the co?
Yeah. Okay. I have gone ahead and removed my video. So I'm just trying to start another video. So just maybe video here, we can just start that. Yeah.
Okay.
And guess what? Technology is also troubling me because I'm getting to hear my own voice. Okay. So nonetheless, I think it will take time for the screen to show, or for that matter, the slides to come on screen. But I'll just give you an overview. Now, when we talk to the students, and I spoke about the challenges that they faced in their online classes, 35% of them spoke about concentration issues. Okay, 10%
Sorry
said
to interrupt,
that
you're the host now. If you can try sharing your screen, I think we should be able to see that. Let's just give it one shot.
Lovely.
It works.
No, it's still disabled. So the one where you can see my video, you can enable that.
Yeah. In the interest of time, let's go ahead, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. So see, technology has its own challenges, okay? And the challenges that the students face, 35% of them said that they have concentration issues in online classes. 10% of them spoke about the interest factor. 15% said that understanding teacher was an issue. About 16.5% mentioned that technology was a concern. Technology was not up to the mark, internet issues and so on and so forth. Now, when we look at this, it also gives us a clear understanding that as facilitators of knowledge, or for that matter, whatever we teach, we need to understand that we are not just the source of knowledge. As teachers, we are facilitators. So whatever research we talk about that a teacher should do and can do, it's available everywhere on the internet. So as teachers, we need to be a little bit more collaborative. Okay, we need to also do our own research and look at different ways of managing our own learning. Now, when we ask students whether they would like to continue with online learning after the situation improves, I would say that about 45% of them answered as no. And roughly about 22.5% said that yes, they would like to go with this. Okay. Now, the interesting part is that roughly about 31.2% said that yes, a blended learning of face-to-face as well as online learning can be utilized and can be fruitful for others. So it gives us a very clear indication that not just one way, but yes, the entire process has to be in a more blended way, and a hybrid mode of learning, which is online as well as
physical, yeah,
face to face. Those things have to be taken into account. And when we talk about our own learning, see, learning is a very emotional process, and any learning which is without fun would not have that much of impact. As teachers or even as students, whenever we look back our days when we were learning, when we were in our universities, colleges, schools, the fun of sitting at the back, the fun of looking at the teacher, also giving them some names. I remember my maths sir was called Lambu sir, and some of the teachers who were very compassionate, like Mrs. Mary Verghese, Pankaj would remember that. So those experiences that we've had, no online learning can take that away. You know, even sitting at the back and having, you know, lunches before the lunch hour, that also had its own fun. You know, sitting together and cracking a joke, or aankhon aankhon mein jo jokes hame samajh mein aa jate the, that was also fun. And when the teachers would say, come on, what is it? Share the joke with me. So even that amount of fun is really, really important. And a lot of our learning happens when we are with our peer groups, when we interact, when we have some sort of musty as well, yeah, which sometimes online learning takes away. And honestly, I was looking at one of my cousins taking her class. So it was a 9 o'clock class. And for that class, I could only see her face coming out of a quilt and a similar headphone plugged into her eyes. So I do not think that those kind of learning would be very, very fruitful learning. We have to come out of our comfort zones. So while online learning is something which we cannot avoid today, and technology, to my understanding, is like your spouse. You love it, you hate it, but you can't ignore it. So whatever said and done, we have to be with technology. But yes, a blend is very, very essential. Thank you so much.
Great, sir. I just, okay, later maybe offline, I'll ask all the panelists, were they backbenchers or front benchers when they were studying their days? But yeah, we'll get to that later. So, Gautam, I have a question for you now. We're just curious to know your views on how much of a recognition do these online certification command in the job market? Because you represent the talent acquisition industry. What is the value perception that it currently has in the market, and can that evolve and change in the future? You're on mute. You're on mute. Okay, can we unmute? Yes. Okay, can okay, so sorry. Nitesh sir, you're the host currently. Can you just make BMS College host back?
Okay, 1 second.
Okay. हितेश हो या नितेश हो, कोई बात नहीं सर, चले.
Okay, so it's me or Hitesh? Who's the host?
So, sir, Nitesh sir, if you can hear me, you have to BMS College of Commerce, the host.
Okay, okay, just a second.
Yep. Sorry, audience, bear with us as we figure out the way with technology, and quite pertinent given the topic. But yeah.
Okay. Yes, I've done that.
Keep you waiting. Maybe if, okay, in the meantime, so Vinay, actually, I had the same question for you before we go to Gautam. Maybe we can have you weigh in on this, right? So the question was that how much of the recognition do these online certification command in the market today?
Sure. I'd just like to do just one more thing before I move. While we were talking of teachers and students and what needs to be done and how blended sessions have to work, etc. When 15 years, 18 years back, information was not easily accessible. So people would look up to faculty to really get information or knowledge. Today, students have readily available. So faculty, I'm a millennial myself and Gen Z sitting here, they will only listen to you if you inspire them, because knowledge is available for them online. If you're not able to inspire them, they're not going to listen to you because they don't care for what knowledge you give. But that's easily available. Coming to, sorry, what is this question?
Yeah, the online certification, how much of recognition?
It depends on how you want to make those online certifications valid, as simple as that. If I were you, and if I'm doing an online certification, I will ensure that I have at least 2 or 3 takeaways that I take from that online certification. I at least implement one thing in my real life. And when somebody talks to me about what kind of certifications I've done, I talk about my takeaways and what I've implemented. And if I'm making it valid, why will somebody else as a recruiter not take it as a valid certification? But if you take a certification as just a tick in the box activity, and when the recruiter asks you, what have you done in the certification? And you tell that, oh, I did it 6 months back, I don't remember too much, I learned something. Obviously, recruiter is not going to take you seriously.
Right.
So if you want your certification to be counted, you have to make it valid.
Right. Yeah, great. Gautam, I think we can, if you can unmute Gautam, and I think Gautam, you can talk now. I think.
Yeah, thank you, Hitesh. And I'm just going to add to what Vinay said. Right? It's not very different, but truly speaking, I don't think so. Today we just look at educational backgrounds of candidates or what certificates they bring to the table. Interview processes are much more robust than in the past. So we go down to asking them to write the code and kind of do code reviews with multiple people, also look at what personality they bring to the table, right? It's just not about just the skill, but also the personality they bring to table. So we also do as much as possible face-to-face or video interviews. So we gauge some amount of what personality the person is. And of course, I would say that just the certificate is not of any importance to us, but what the person really brings to the table is the most important part of it. And I think even in today's scenario, like in the post the pandemic, I think companies have changed the way they're looking at talent, primarily because there's also a need for talent to be very different in the market. If you see, there are companies coming together, contemporary companies coming together. Like there's a 3M and a Ford which comes together to make masks, and there is a Novo Nordisk and Carlsberg coming to make sanitizers. So the kind of talent that you look at is going to be very, very different in the future. So I think just coming with a certificate is not going to be the criteria for any company to hire, but also the way the person networks, collaborates, works well with a group of people. All of that is going to be very important. So yeah, for me, I don't think so the certificate matters at all.
Yeah. I think the focus is on the skill, and your personality is what you bring to the table, rather than rattling off knowledge based on your certification. Right? That's what I understood from there. So now to give you, now I think we are rattling off or rather quoting a lot of statistics. I have some my 2 cents to contribute there. So in January 2020, the World Economic Forum announced that the world is facing a reskilling emergency. They declared a reskilling emergency right now. According to a McKinsey survey about future of work, they said that the 50% of the tasks performed by current workforce can be easily automated in the next 5 to 10 years. We currently do have the AI, the artificial intelligence, machine learning technologies to be able to execute 50% of the work that the current workforce is performing. Now, for the benefit of the students, I'll give you 2 examples of this scenario, right? And from my own space. So I belong to the finance and accounting domain, and I can talk about one example there. So my friend Neeraj Gupta, who was supposed to join but is probably on Zoom right now, he's an IIT Kharagpur alumnus. He's put together a program. Now, most of you are commerce students, right? And you can relate to this. He's put together a program, an algorithm, where what is the basic thing that we do as commerce graduates? Accounting, right? That's the first entry level job that we all seek in finance and accounting. So the code has the ability. Let's say I ordered 1,000 rupees, voucher or on Amazon. The code can go to your email inbox, read that invoice, map it to the correct GL accounting code, and then that entry is passed in your Tally or QuickBooks or whatever accounting software that you're using, Oracle and SAP and so on. So which just gives you a sense that the basic job that people used to start with, and including myself, I also started in 2011 starting with accounting, that is already automated. So if I am looking as a commerce graduate to do, my only skill is how to account, then the technology is ahead of me, and I need to really make sure I'm upskilled and I'm ready for the next level of knowledge there. Second example, again, I'm a chartered accountant, so again from the tax space. 10 years back or 12 years back, when I was doing my CA internship, it's called articleship, that we have to undergo under practicing CA for 3 years. I was half the time filing tax returns, right? That's the basic skill that a chartered accountant sort of brings to the table. Now, today, a Form 16, which I'm sure, Vinay is signing off for his company, is issued by employers to all the employees, which is basically a tax certificate saying, here's the salary you earned, this is the tax deducted, and this is what your liability is, and so on. Now, currently, there are companies like ClearTax who have the ability to read that algorithmically and create a return in less than 5 seconds. All you have to do as a taxpayer is just see whether it makes sense. Is there any additional adjustment or not? Now, again, if I were to rely back on the skill that I learned in my articleship, which is just to read a Form 16 and file a tax return, my skill is no longer required today because Clear Tax has already taken that away. Forget about Clear Tax. The income tax portal today is so automated, where, in fact, I did my tax filings this last month. The data is already pre-populated in your income tax login. All you have to do is digitally sign it or do e-Aadhaar, OTP verification, and so on. So the point that I'm trying to make here is that the basic level execution data entry type of work is already automated. So that's not the skill that fresh graduates can bring to the table. Now, with this background, Yogesh, I would like to come to you and understand what are your views on how can students be better ready in this new era of automation so that they are ready with the skills which cannot be replaced by AI and ML.
Yeah, thanks, Hitesh. I just recently read a report which says that one thing which is unlikely to automate in the near future is soft skills. Now, soft skills is a very, very vast topic. I'm just going to talk about the 4 C's of soft skills. In fact, at Masai School, we believe in a holistic learning, and we, apart from the core, which is the coding, we invest 1 hour every day to build the soft skills in our student. That means at the end of the program, 100 hours is spent on the student. The first C is collaboration. And if you want to collaborate well, you need the next C, that is the communication. And obviously, you are hired because you have to solve a problem. That means your ability to do a creative thinking and critical thinking. So if as a student, if you can pick up these 4 C's right through, I don't think so. As of now, we don't see, at least in your and my career, that there would be an automation on this. Collaboration, communication, skills, creative thinking, and critical thinking. So, Hitesh, I think we as a society, we are obsessed with certificate. And we find great pleasure in putting that in our LinkedIn or in our resume. I have this certificate and that certificate. The question to ask yourself when you go after the certificate, what is the application of that? And normally, an application of knowledge is a skill. I interview a lot of people saying that I'm TTT certified. That means train the trainer. When I ask him, can you run a small session for 10 minutes? He doesn't have the basic facilitation skills, right? Having TTT is a certification, but what I'm evaluating is your skill. So keep asking this question and ask also the companies that are giving you certificate, what is it that gets translated into? So that's our take, Hitesh. If they are able to build their soft skills, and let me tell you something very interesting. I keep fighting with my tech team also. Hard skills is easier to learn, and soft skills is harder to learn. And you will see that if you want to change somebody's communication skill, it would take a much longer time. If I want to teach somebody a Java or let's say JavaScript, I can teach him in 3 months. But ask me to change his presentation skill style, it would take 6 months for me. Back to you, Hitesh.
I think you made a very pertinent point about hard skills can be learned and gained, but it is much more difficult to sort of master the soft skills, right? So I think let's take a few. Sure, go ahead.
I'm going to train my guns a lot on the college and faculty and not students really. One of the things that I'd experimented when I was running an educational program myself was, we have soft skills training happening in silos and silos. What we did is we blended the two. In a business management class, and when there's a business management presentation happening by the students, the soft skills faculty will look at correcting whatever needs to be done. The business management faculty will look at how the content is presented, and the two blended, the outcome is there's no clash of, say, the way you're presenting, what you're presenting, formats, etc., because your soft skills faculty will give you one format, your business management faculty will say, why are you using it like this? You have to present the data like this. We actually did a blended session, and it worked very well because students didn't have to have guru classes, and at the same time they also could get good inputs in doing it. You can try that. It's surely successful.
So, Dr. Hari, coming back to you. So, we spoke about emotional, rather we spoke about soft skills. Yogesh and Vinay both highlighted. Now, in a future when technologies taking over our lives, whether it is education or work, how do you retain the human intelligence or the human element, which we popularly call EQ, the emotional quotient, as opposed to IQ, which is the intelligence quotient? So you can build on that, sir.
You here familiar with the person called Elon Musk? Have you heard this guy? This guy is just 3 days back overtaken Bill Gates as the second richest man in the world. So look at his journey. Failed a couple of times. The Tesla, which is there in a small town in California, is called Fairmount. There, the Tesla car is manufactured from that place. And to talk a little bit about himself, today became a second richest. The Tesla company market capitalization today is crossed 540 billion as on yesterday. As on yesterday, 540 billion market capitalization. And this man reached 128.5 billion, overtaken again Bill Gates. He was the richest man in the world from last 4 decades, not now, from last 4 decades. He is the richest man. So if you talk about his company Tesla, again, he is not an automobile engineer. He is not having any qualification related to automobile. And Tesla car today, in market capitalization, it become a number 1. But if you look at the number of cars which are there in the road, compare than the number 1 car company, that is Toyota, is 1:1,000. That means if 1,000 cars of Toyota is available on the road, 1 Tesla. But when you look at the market capitalization, they've overtaken even Toyota. So what is the secret? Why he is able to become, and all this wealth, what I'm talking, in the last 8 months, he accumulated 100 billion. He accumulated 100 billion of his personal wealth. And if you talk about 100 billion, it's a very huge. You don't have many companies in India which meets even 100 billion, except the Reliance and the Tatas. There is no other company which meets 100 billion. So again, in this during this pandemic situation, we are talking about negative growth and all. If you look at one company, Indian company, which is doing really great work of getting more foreign investments and a lot of acquisitions, a lot of mergers, a lot of news, is a Reliance industry. So if you just go back to the founder, we will not talk about the Dhirubhai Ambani. So we will talk about the Mukesh Ambani. So the Dhirubhai Ambani shared his entire the property into 2 shares because he got 2 sons. One is Mukesh and second one is Anil. So when he divided this entire property, Anil is highly educated. He did his all the top graduation from Stanford, the best institutes of the world. Then Mukesh unable to complete even his graduation. Then today when they divided, Anil was the richest in the world, in the Forbes richest people. Anil was 16 when they divided the entire property. And Anil had an option of choosing what he likes. Like if you put 5 fruits, if you say apple, orange and all, you choose. So he's younger. So he's given a first option to choose whatever he wants. So he chosen the best companies of Reliance Group at that time. And the Mukesh was given whatever left out. And today, if you just see what is Mukesh and what is Anil, what is the education. So what I'm trying to say from this example of Elon Musk to this is, one is, yes, today's skills. I think COVID given a lot of opportunity to the people. Today, what I see is more postings in LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook is the certificates. Straight away certificate.
Yeah.
Coursera, I done AI today.
Yeah.
The next week is a digital marketing. The next one is a robotics. The next one is every week people are putting a new certificate, including faculty. What I see, couple of my friends who are directors in leading institutes, they are also doing, because Coursera is giving a free courses. You need not to pay any money. So now accumulation of certificates, I think, is happened in the last 8 months. It was not happened in the last 50 to 60 years. That much accumulation of certificates and all. So what I feel is today, more than certificates, more than these all, your personal expertise is what which makes you better in today current scenario, because you need innovations, you need ideas. So when we talk about to the EQ, again, when Mr. Vinay was asking the district, then again, if I go back to the next question, how many villages have in this country? I don't think, except people who can search in Google, unable to answer, including the Indian Administrative Service fee, cannot able to, because every time you keep increasing. So today, if we talk about Karnataka again, just last week we added one more district, Vijayanagar district, and again by end of this year we are going to add one more district. These all keep going up. One need to update them. So today, the business, if you talk about globally, the top 100 companies of the world, Fortune 100 companies. If you talk about the founders of these 100 companies, out of 100, 60% they don't have a proper qualification. They don't have any degree, but they are the chief guest for Harvard convocation. They are the chief guest for Stanford convocation. So what is required is a passion, which drives people to become a success. If you look at, even in India today, Bangalore has become a startup capital of the world. Today, if you look at the number of startups Bangalore started, if you look at the founders, these all startups, even they don't have a specific qualification what they are doing. Today, again, Elon Musk is selling the SpaceX that the next 10 years, he will take people, like how is the flight goes from Bangalore to Delhi, he will take to Mars. But he never visited Mars. But he is assuring people that he will take to Mars. So today, the passion drives companies to do better. So that is going to be a future phenomena, because you have what is happening is with the new education policy, the kind of enrollment, the gross enrollment ratio, what we talk. In the next 10 years, we are going to add one more 1,000 universities. So now we are 1,000 universities. So now in the next 10 years, by 2030, India will have a 2,000 universities, 1 lakh colleges. So what they will do when the college and university they start, they have to recruit, they have to survive. So they keep on recruiting people, they have to keep on giving degrees, but ultimately again, the figures what you are talking about, McKinsey, KPMG, Goldman Sachs, all these whatever consulting companies are talking about, skills, development, all this happening across the world, the focus is happening, but the skills what we are talking is more, again, we are just comparing the soft skills, hard skills. But again, what is going to happen 5 to 10 years is the more focus on the experimental learning. What you are going to do is experiment along with your education. That is going to come in. That is what when the new education policy was talking, that is what the major, today, why Harvard is so popular. The reason is simple. Harvard, in classroom, the faculty doesn't. What happens in Harvard classroom is a case study. So in Harvard faculty, what he thinks case to be discussed in a classroom, will just sit somewhere in the side, the faculty. So all the discussion keep happening. I still remember 18 years back when we were there in ISP, part of the ISP student community, our faculty was Philip Porter. How many people familiar with Philip Porter?
Yes, sir.
So he used to come and teach to us. And the teaching, what we learned from Philip Kotler is not in classroom.
He's known as the father of marketing,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
sir? Yeah.
So the teaching, what we used to learn from Philip Kotler is in canteen.
Right.
Not in a classroom, because he cannot talk freely in classroom. So in canteen, when we used to have a lunch, dinner, and all, he used to freely talk what is his experiences. So
Right.
again, after so many years, last year, not last year, this year only, in March, I met Philip Kotler in US, in Kellogg's, after waiting 15 days for his appointment because he is not well. So today he is more than 80 years.
Yeah.
And his first book, Philip Kotler,
Yes.
Marketing
Yes.
Management,
Yes.
published 52 years back.
Yeah.
So I asked only one question. So because we talk about digital, we talk about technology, we talk about transformation. I talked, sir, you have a Facebook account. I asked the first question. He said, no.
No.
Somebody manages. That also started very recently. I asked him, do you use LinkedIn? He said, no, I not applied for any university now. I don't use LinkedIn. So what I'm trying to say, I asked him, so your book is like a landmark for our management students. Till we follow now, till all the IIMs, all the global institutes, they follow his book as a standard. So today marketing has changed. Today, it's not the same marketing 10 years back. Today, entire thing is moved to digital. Right. Today, not many people read newspaper, the physical. Yep. Today, nobody watches TV, personally. Everything happens using a mobile. So then what are the new things you brought to your textbook? He said, nothing. It remains same. So what is the new editions? What we are doing is a couple of authors bringing their expertise and adding new edition and bringing to the market. So from this example, what I'm telling you is, so more than a certifications, more than whatever we call the fancy degrees, the real experience makes person more successful. Yep. So that is what we have to adopt in our education system more. Right. Because today, if you look at the jobs, crisis and all, how to overcome this? Right. When you become expert in one area, like Sachin Tendulkar, he's a master, like a who is a 100 meters the Olympic champion, Usain Bolt. So he knows that 100 meters. He's expert. So nobody can able to, compete his record. So that he took long time to become a master. Right. So for that, he's not enrolled any, the soft skills.
He doesn't post on LinkedIn with his degree. Yeah.
Nothing. So these all require, so we have to thrive on that. Then definitely, we can be successful on whatever we dream, whatever we plan.
Yes, sir. So on a lighter note, sir, there's one thing I have in common with Philip Kotler is that we both don't have a Facebook account. But anyway, just to get some limelight there. So anyway, Gautam, coming to you with the same question, what are your views on retaining the human quotient or the emotional intelligence in the world where we are just totally taken over by technology? Gautam, do I have you there? Yes, Gautam. Yeah. You now. Yeah.
No, he's on mute.
Okay. Need to unmute. One sec. Can you talk?
Hey,
sorry.
yeah, Hitesh. I
Yes,
can
go
hear
ahead.
you. And I think on the point, right, I think emotional quotient will always play a huge point, right? From from a talent acquisition perspective, let me talk about the field which I am more associated with. Today, talent acquisition is the most disrupted HR function in the world. Like everything can be done through machines. Everything can be done through AI itself. So I think why we still survive is the fact that there is a whole need for the emotional quotient to be there. You cannot guarantee a candidate will join you if you don't have that emotional connect with the candidate. And I think there is a need for us to also kind of understand the candidate and get to know him better. He needs to understand the organization, get to know the organization better. It's a two-way process, while everything can be disrupted through technology, there is going to be a need for the human intervention to be there. So I think what is going to work, like a lot of the other speakers said, is it needs to be an augmented approach to manage this, right? It is going to be a partial technology function and a partial human intervention. So I think it's going to be both. And I think while there will be a lot of admin related work which is going to be taken over by machines, there is going to be a whole set of soft skills which will still retain, and we need to, like coaching, for example. Coaching is never going to be done by technology. It's still going to be done by humans, and it needs a human intervention there. So I think for me, it's going to be augmented approach, and not just technology taking over education or HR or any of these functions, but it is going to be a hybrid approach.
Yeah.
I just want to add to what Gautam just said. I came
Go
across
ahead.
this quote, and which is so appropriate. And it said that technology will never replace great teachers, but technology in the hands of great teachers will bring in transformation, because technology will make it scalable, will make it affordable. I think teachers will be very much required. As we keep talking about it, ultimately technology is a tool. Any tool doesn't work by itself. I can get the best of the tool, but to make a tool work, you need human beings, right? I think that is where the teacher is going to make a huge difference, and especially things like, as he talked about, coaching and mentoring, inspiring, motivating. I think technology beyond a point can't do that, and that's where the human interface is required.
Yeah. Again, in the interest of time, Vinay, if you want to quickly weigh in on this point. Yeah.
One point we keep forgetting. There is like a biggest unlearning and relearning activity that has happened for the teaching fraternity. The ones who would hate the sights of mobile phones in the classroom have been on mobile phones teaching students. Nobody's taught them how to really go online and teach students. It's very difficult. And we must give it to the teaching fraternity that they actually unlearned and relearned the ways of teaching. And students were at advantage. They would, unmute everybody. They would do a lot of mischief. It took a while for the teaching fraternity to really get
Adapt
there
to
and
this,
teach them. And this is an example of how unlearning and relearning happens, which the teaching fraternity has stood up to, and we must thank them for that with a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. Now,
Hitesh, can I add something here?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Go ahead, Hitesh.
Sorry, the discussion is going very in the right direction, but I could not stop myself when it comes to emotional intelligence. So when it comes to EQ, IQ, there's another Q that I would like to add, which is SQ, and I call it as spiritual quotient. And of course, we have a very august gathering here, very, very eminent people here. We surely know that people get hired for their IQ in their organization, but they grow and they develop in an organization because of their emotional intelligence, or we call it emotional quotient for that matter. So three important skills that students need to develop. I would call it skill because yes, it needs to be developed. Number one is integrity. No matter whether you are working with technology, without technology, but the core of the issue is what is your level of honesty and with what integrity you're working. And wherever, whether I am an HR professional or I'm a student or I'm a teacher, if I'm working with integrity, half my battle is won. And of course, gentlemen also spoke about collaboration. So with integrity and sincerity in mind, definitely any job that I do, I'll be able to add value to it. And that is something which is important. So, the next thing, which is about spiritual quotient, yes, we read books, we know a lot about what we are doing, but somewhere it's also important that we connect with ourselves. Some sort of meditation, yoga that is really required today, because with the disruption that has happened these days, mental wellness has also become a very, very important aspect. I was reading one article which said that the attention span of a normal individual today has gone down to almost 8 seconds, which is even lesser than every 8 seconds we get something new. To add to this agony, we also have technology, mobile phones, and we might have definitely seen the digital dilemma, which was there on Netflix few days ago. The apps have been designed in such a way that after every few seconds, you want to check if there is a new message. So while technology is what we are talking about, we need to be technologically advanced, but somewhere it's important that we connect with ourselves. We connect with our families. I would urge the students from here to go sit with their grandmother, understand some of the hidden recipes that the grandmother used to make, or for that matter, listen to the grandfather, listen to your parents, and have that heart to heart bond. That is very, very important. Because unless we go back to our basics, unless our foundation is clear, we can't expect us to do well in our life. That's it. Thank you so much.
I really appreciate, Nitesh sir, the point that you made about spiritual quotient. In fact, I think both Vinay and I immediately took notes of that after EQ and IQ. I think SQ is the third thing we need to look at. And just a quick point I wanted to make before we move on to the next question is, I can totally endorse the views that Nitesh sir expressed here. As all of us are aware, since March, we've all been working from home, whether it is, me, Vinay, Gautam, and so on. And I think one of the things that we have always taken for granted is the value of human interaction, is the value of this physical, social interaction. And I can tell you that being an extrovert myself, it was very difficult for me to just be locked inside a house with a laptop and not have any friends to talk to, colleagues to converse with, and so on. And I think that actually made me resort to meditation. That made me resort to, I think we all, the Gen Z, like, when I alluded to, is very used to the apps like Facebook and LinkedIn and Insta and so on. There's a wonderful app called Headspace, which I'm not sure how many of you heard, but it's an app that is for guided meditation. Which, I've started in the last couple of months. Of course, I'm not promoting Headspace here, but I'm just saying something that I started doing in the current environment where we were all locked inside our houses. I think this is some really, I mean, I really appreciate you, Nitesh sir going, elaborating on the spiritual quotient. So thank you, sir. Yeah, go ahead.
On a lighter note, so since you're talking of spiritual quotient, when we went into lockdown, my mother from day one started doing meditation.
Wow.
She said, I'm not used to so much nonsense in the house after 9:30 in the morning. If all of you are going to be home, you're going to make, I need some peace. I need some me time. And she went and started doing meditation. 4 months continuously, every day evening, 7:30, she was with Sri Ravi Shankar doing meditation because we were all home. And it's infringing on her territory after 9:30 because she's used to the house for herself and with sister, wife, father, grandmother, everybody on her head. So yeah, just a joke.
Sure. And I think my spouse Hina is here, and I think she would agree with me on how Headspace has helped me be more friendly, more manageable, more sane at home. So I think meditation, all whatever suits you, right? I mean, just benefit of the student, whatever suits you. Both Vinay and I and everyone, including Nitesh sir, would encourage you to sort of have some sort of coping mechanism in place, especially in the current environment. Because I think if there is one thing that I have personally learned in the last 9 months, is the value of human interaction, is the value of social interaction. I have my friends also here who have been kind enough to attend this, and I met them after 6 months, and I could feel the vibe when I met them and what I was missing. I mean, of course, nothing can replace the physical interaction, social interaction. Okay, coming back to our topic for the day. So let's so I'll again go to Mr. Nitesh and let's talk about the edtech companies, the startups, that are there today. So like Hari sir already alluded to, Byju's is the most valued edtech company in the world, with Shah Rukh Khan as brand ambassador. I mean, if you have Shah Rukh Khan as your brand ambassador, that just goes to show that you have a lot of money in your pockets, right? Then you have Unacademy, also highly valued, another edtech startup. There's Ronnie Screwvala, who is the founder of UTV Group, right? Who sold his venture to Walt Disney. He has become a full-time edtech entrepreneur by his venture called Upgrad, right? And Upgrad has the likes of Vicky Kaushal as the brand ambassador, who's famous for his story and so on. So with all these startups mushrooming across India, sir, I'm just crystal ball gazing here, and I understand that predicting the future is kind of a fool's paradise today, because I was reading an interesting meme on internet that in retrospect, in 2015, whoever said answered the question, where do you see yourself 5 years down the line? Not a single person got that answer right, because nobody predicted where we are going to be, right? So coming back to on that topic, so do you see a future imaginable where you have a student learning from Byju's till 12th standard, then going on to Coursera and pursuing Yale and Stanford University tie-up, say engineering or commerce and so on, and then post-graduating by upgrad sort of format, right? Do you see in the next, let's just speculate, do you see in the next 20 years or 10 years something like this happening?
Well, Hitesh, thank you for asking that question. Sorry, I'm a little disturbed because I can get to hear my own voice. So I'm going to take off this plug into my ears and talk without that. Okay. So yeah, when it comes to doing your education through Byju's or probably graduating from an online university, that is definitely on the cards. Let me tell you that my university is also planning to start courses online where people can do their sessions, they can graduate through online learning mode. And it is very much a possibility. Well, not just this, let me also give you some other thoughts to people here. When it comes to grade 10th, 11th, and 12th, especially 11th and 12th, there are many students who would like to refrain going to the schools. They would rather go to Kota and start studying in some of the virtual schools, yet continue to work on their JE preparation. So it's not that this is not happening. This was happening already, just that it was not in a more structured way, or I would rather say in a more legalized way. So with the way things are moving, definitely as human beings, we want things to be more comfortable. We want things to be very much in line with what we want. We want things to be served in platter. Maybe 10 years or 15 years ago, nobody would have thought of buying a laptop without physically visiting a store. But today, most of the time, whenever we have to buy anything, even washing machine, we would rather prefer to buy it on a Flipkart or Amazon. Now, one important aspect here is that Flipkart or Amazon or other companies who are into this online sales, they have been able to retain their goodwill because of the quality of products that they have given, the kind of customer service that they have given. So yes, I definitely see a potential of students taking these sessions through Byju's, or for that matter from online universities. But one thing that as an educationist we need to be very careful of is the quality of input, is the quality of innovation, and the connect that we should establish with the student. So we have to look at both the pros and cons of this entire process and devise a plan which is more conducive, which is relevant, which also gives students an edge over your new product. Because you see, it's about launching a new product, launching a new strategy. So you have to look at how my product, how my new strategy fits the bill. How does it solve the needs of a customer? Again, going back to the marketing fundamentals. So that is what people need to look at. And of course, as and when though this Amazon, Flipkart, they came into existence, but still the existing shopkeepers, they're still there. So it will be it will be very competitive market when it comes to education as well, and the quality should be the key. So that's my thought on it. Thank you.
Thanks for weighing in on that, Nitesh sir. Yogesh, would you like to add on to that?
Yeah, I would classify this entire thing into two parts. One is K-12 and K-12 plus. I think for K-12, schools will continue, high schools will continue, pre-university continue. As a parent, I want my child to go to school not just for knowledge. As a parent, I want my child to learn networking, peer social skills, and peer learning. I don't think so this can happen in online, right? What can change dramatically is K-12 plus. And in K-12 plus, EduTech can play a big role because most of the colleges are failing them in getting them employability comes into there, right? So those set of colleges which are only there giving real estates, many colleges in India are purely a real estate play. I'm talking about it vocally here because I do more than 1,000 interviews in the last 1 year to recruit students for our coding classes. Most of them have paid 4, 6, 8 lakhs for their BTech, and they don't even get a 10,000 rupees job. And not even in their city, they come to Bangalore. They think IT jobs are lying by dozen here, and they don't even get through this. Why is it that they have to invest in that kind of a situation where they mortgage their farmlands, right? Today and 4 years down, the education done, and they've come back for the money. So I think K-12 plus higher education, I think EduTech will play a big role, because if education is outcome driven, because what EduTech can offer is outcome driven. I asked many of the EduTech out there who claim $1 billion valuation, why don't they do outcome driven? Let them say that I enroll my student into here. If there is no outcome, I refund the money back. If they're so confident in their content, if they're so confident in the way the pedagogy is all about, take a stand. Don't pay me if you're not successful. I think the day will change when the colleges and the edutech sector is saying that I have a skin in the game, right? You are successful, I am successful. How many of them will do? Rather than bringing brand ambassadors to influence parents to enroll their children and creating a FOMO, this can be a better value proposition saying that don't pay me anything if you're not successful. I think that is the day when the education will change, when there is a skin in the game. Back to you, Hitesh.
So much for that, Yogesh. Now, Gautam, I'll come back to you. Uh, when most of our students who are attending this session, whether in live or in Zoom, I think a majority of them are going to graduate, say, next year in 2021. Now, given the economic scenario that we are living in today, it's going to be very difficult for them to get the way their seniors got their jobs easily. I think it's going to be much more difficult for them as they graduate and seek out jobs. So as you represent the HR industry, I would love to hear your advice to them in terms of how can they be better prepared for this new normal and ensure that they do have a job in place when they graduate next year. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Great. Yeah, now I can speak. I think, Hitesh, on this topic, right, I don't completely believe that jobs are not going to be existent for the 2021 batch. Today, at Musk, we're a shipping company. We have 800 open jobs today, and we're happy to welcome a lot more applications, right? I think a lot of huger companies and companies which have been thoughtful have been able to retain business or even take advantage of the situation and have been able to make profits and get a lot more open jobs, which means that a lot of the other companies which are not doing too well, we're kind of merging or acquiring either of these companies. So a lot of jobs are going to be open. It's not like jobs are not going to be open. The job market is still going to, like today when I open like a Naukri or a Monster, I see almost 8,000 to 9,000 open jobs right away. So, and these are companies who have paid for Naukri, and I'm very sure there are ones who have not paid and still have jobs open. So I think the market is going to be open, but the way we look at talent is going to be very different, right? Like when I alluded earlier, the kind of talent that we look at this time is going to be slightly more different because the way we're working has changed. Like I said, there is a lot more concentration on not only just the skills, but also things like softer skills like collaboration and networking and thinking out of the box, because that's going to look like the future of how we're operating. So I think jobs will be there. How you interview these candidates probably in the, and this is a tip for teachers who are prepping students. In the past, I am assuming that, students prepped for face-to-face interviews. Now they should prep for video interviews, and probably even resumes in the future are not going to be paper resumes. It probably may be a video resume for all you know. So I think things are going to change, and I think we need to prep for those changes rather than anything else. Jobs, I feel, will still remain. There is a lot of jobs. The older admin kind of jobs are going away, but there are new strategic jobs coming up in the market.
Thanks for, I think we get a lot of confidence listening to Gautam because, he's the one who actually knows the data, right? He knows what he's talking about. And maybe what I hear is the contrary to the popular perception that, the jobs are going away. It's a downtime. It is, it's a recession and so on. Like Gautam echoed a very positive sentiment there that the jobs are here to stay, and the market is not as bad or as there's no doomsday scenario, looking at us, right? And Vinay, if you'd like to weigh in. Okay, Dr. Hari, yeah.
So I agree with
Gautam.
Gautam.
Yeah.
In fact, to share my personal experience, we have an organization called Vision Digital India. So in last 8 months, our experience, we reduced almost 45% cost in operational cost in our organization, because earlier we are into providing digital skills to all. So we collaborated with some of the best companies in the world. So we used to give certifications in data science, digital marketing, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, cloud computing. All these courses we used to offer in a blended learning mode. So our faculty used to travel across India, used to stay in hotels and go to campuses and used to train. Now, in the last 8 months, everything is stopped, no travel. And all the faculty who are there, part of our organization, sitting in their home, they need not to come to even office. They are not visited at all in the last 7 months. So they sit in the home and they deliver the classes. So the now reach is gone up. So in the last 8 months, in fact, to talk about the numbers, touched closely around 1 lakh students trained, taking almost 4 to 5 years. So in the last 8 months, they're able to touch half of that number, what we achieved. And again, when I talk about the opportunity, now we empaneled, that means doubled our numbers, number of people recruited. And some of the people we recruited, in fact, never met personally. It all happened over the call, and then a kind of a demo session, and they are part of our system. So what I'm trying to say is opportunities are going to increase coming years, because whatever examples we're giving now, the Amazon, #1 company, they don't manufacture anything. If you talk about the #1 car rental company, they don't own even a single car tire. Forget about the car. The #1, the hotel selling and flight selling company, they don't have any flight, they don't have any hotel. What they're doing is they're just collaborating and becoming leaders in the market. So the same way, there are, when I'm talking about one person adding 100 billion in his wealth, and I am talking about Baiju is becoming a leader in EdTech, it's all opportunity. So with these, only one person will not going to get a wealth. These, I think, large number of are going to get benefit, and the number of openings, whether it is a job, whether it is an entrepreneur journey, are going to increase coming years, whether the pandemic is going to continue, or some more kind of a pandemics, or some more crisis comes, but growing as a country. Definitely, India is going to be the third largest economy in the world in 4 to 5 years.
HR industry, I think pertinent to your thoughts as
well. I think take a chill pill. I don't see any reason why you guys need to worry so much about what's going to happen, what's not going to happen. What's critical is, anyways, all of you know the art of taking the right selfie. So virtual interview preparation is not a big problem. As far as you're visible clearly, when you do so when you talk to your girlfriends and boyfriends, I'm sure you're able to do so with the interview. Don't look at too much information. We have a lot of information overload as a problem, and that's a bigger pandemic than the one that's existing. We have enough and more time that we face using internet to go through information that's irrelevant and not required to really make our brain load up. I think avoid that. Focus on what you've got to do. Focus on preparing for it. Focus on your answers. Focus on how you have written them, and take a chill. You'll get a job. Good luck.
Yeah, and just to add there, Hitesh, I think the future also looks bright towards gig workers. So I think anybody who's thinking of getting a freelance experience or experience for just a few months, I think all our companies also in the mode of cost saving are looking at gig as the new future for the workforce. So I think anybody who wants to be in that space as well, it's great.
Right. Yeah. Gig economy is in itself, I think, as understand, from listening to both of you, and I think that's itself a big growing industry as companies look for freelancers rather than employing them on payroll for all practical purposes. So I guess I had a lot more questions, but in the interest of time, I think I'll just pause here and sort of open it up for the audience Q&A. So I'm sure, given the curious students that we have at BMS College, I'm sure they have questions for us. So we'll just open it up and we'll go ahead and ask questions. So if you can pass the mic on to the student. Yes, we'll come to that as well. Yeah, sure. Yeah. So yeah. Anybody any questions? Yeah. Right. Can we take the mic from here, please? Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. A very good afternoon to all the panelists. So myself, Prajwal, I'm from BMS College of Commerce and Management, and I'm studying third year BCom. So if I have to be future ready as a commerce student, I would like to emphasize on the term commerce. Who will be graduating next year? So what should we attain or have in terms of skills, knowledge, and abilities in present scenario where the companies are also inclined towards work from home culture and the hybrid, wherein the offline and the work from home. So we wouldn't experience the typical office life as to, like, at least not for a near future.
Yeah, Vinay, if you'd like to take that, or yeah.
If you've gone to Vidyarthi Bhavan, if you've gone to Brahmins, if you've enjoyed your college life here, you never learned how to enjoy your college life, right? You came in and you started enjoying. You never learned how to take classes online, you started learning. So don't worry about how to prepare for what's going to happen when you join the workforce. There are enough and more tools and techniques that will help you get used to it. What is critical and what is important, and to what Dr. Maram was telling, or what Nitesh was talking about, innovation, passion, I'll possibly take a minute to help you guys understand that. If I were to ask a question, and you can put the chat window up, how many people, experimented something new in the last 90 days? The first 90 days of lockdown, a lot of people experimented a lot of new things. I'm talking of last 90 days, right? What is critical is if you're not able to experiment something new once every month, you're not going to be innovative. People spoke about innovation, people spoke about experimentation. I'm telling you how to do it. You'll have to keep that spirit of experimentation going, because that's what will get you to be more passionate about what you do. Today, when we speak with a lot of energy and enthusiasm because we are Entu Cutlets, and that's why we are passionate about what we do. You've got to be that Entu Cutlets who like to do what they do and who are very energetic about what they do. If you understand these two things, you will have a good time working the work.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Dr. Hari. Yeah.
Just to add first to the commerce. Today we are at 1.3 billion, and the number of people filing income tax in India again lowest. Yeah. But the kind of growth happening, the people filing the income tax is again highest when compared than advanced economy. Every year we are going 20 to 24. The percentage of who are filing, and what is happening in especially last decade, the the middle class, middle class, what I am telling you, 70% of the people are having income below 70, having below, and the 30% is above. So now, all the bottom of the pyramid who are there below 5 lakhs, they are moving to market. They are the people who are going to commerce profession in the bank. That is the reason today you have not much, but there is a huge demand for BCom and MCom across Bangalore, across almost all the colleges, even during lockdown, colleges are closed, especially the BCom and MCom, not MBA, not other. So the reason is simple. That's why when during this lockdown, are join. I know from the colleges, 90% are commerce. So definitely commerce is going to have a great future in that. And without you, I think economy will not.
Yeah. As we open up for Q&A, the participants who are logged in through Zoom, right? Even they can sort of keep posting their questions. And then we have, Sandeep and Preeti who will help us collate those questions. So feel free to keep pinging your questions on the chat box in Zoom. Yeah. Any other questions here?
Commerce and management, second year. So my question to you, panel, is the advent and popularity of technology, is communication still the need of the hour? I mean, is communication still going to still play a very vital role in the near future to come?
Communication survive today in the new communication is what we like the communication what we were doing when we were students is a different. The communication what is happening today in the digital era is a different, because the communication what today people want is very crisp. They don't want to elaborate so much. All for a big 2-line sentence, you people discovered even 2 words, on. So that kind of communication is going to emerge in this world, not the world Oxford communication emerge in this world. So, we ourselves cannot able to understand what exactly people are talking. So definitely, that is the only thing. Communication is going to play very important factor for the success of any enterprise.
Right.
Yeah, I think Yogesh was raising his hand. Yogesh, yeah, like to weigh in as well.
Yeah, I just want to add here, we are an outcome-driven school. Unless the student gets placed above 5 lakhs, he doesn't pay. We have seen many students who are good in technologically, they've cleared our assessments, put in hard work in 6 months. They're not able to make it in the interview round. And then when we ask for feedback, and it was very clearly it came that he's unable to convey his thoughts, views, and opinion. Here, when I say communication, we are not talking about high level influencing communication skill, basic ability to convey your thoughts, views, and opinion, because you're going to work in teams. And then the person gave us a feedback saying that he's going to do a collaborative projects. If he's not able to convey what he feels, how can we take him? I don't have the wherewithal or the bandwidth to take him, train him for 6 months. So here, don't get carried away by the word communication. If you're able to do, if you're able to converse your thoughts, views, and opinion, I think that's good enough. Let us take this panel itself here today discussion. I may have great ideas, but if I'm not able to convey my thoughts or opinion, how does it matter, isn't it? So that's what the communication is all about. So I think all of you should spend more amount of time talking with people individually and in groups, doing a lot of mock session, and it is a learnable. It's a skill that is learnable. The question is, as one of the panel members said, are you passionate to learn it? That's very important here.
Vinay, would you like to add?
Well, I would like to add something here.
Yeah, sure, Nitesh. Yeah, Nitesh, go ahead.
Great. So when we talk about communication, and when we say that it's about speaking, we need to be articulate, we need to sound better, we need to be crisp. One aspect that I would like everybody to focus on, today we are a generation who love ourselves, a little narcissistic in our approach to some extent. We also love our voice. But remember, we've got 2 years, right? So not just speaking, also focus on listening. And very importantly, let's also focus on empathetic listening, okay? Let's not just listen to respond, let's listen to understand and empathize. And this clears the, rather, this completes the entire circle. Speaking, definitely you need to focus on, you need to be very, very crisp, you need to know exactly what you're talking about. And just one last thing I want to share here. In India, I have seen that somehow we judge people, or we also judge ourselves basis our English proficiency. So ladies and gentlemen, while English is a language, that is not a complete communication skills in itself. So yes, if you're good with English, very good. If you're not, let that not reduce your confidence, improve on that, and look at the other aspects of communication too, which is more of an empathetic aspect. That's it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so I think on a lighter note, sir, as you mentioned about listening skills and not just talking skills, I could see my friends and my wife staring at me saying, this is what you need to learn, and talk less and listen more. So, sir, I'm taking that lesson home, sir. I will listen more going forward. Yeah, so, yeah, Vinay, if you had any quick point to add, or we...
No, I think it's a class participation question, if you ask me. When you're chatting with your friends and when you're angry, you move to caps lock to stress on a few words to make that person understand what you're trying to convey. So communication skills, the ways in which you communicate may change or alter a little, but largely are essential for survival.
Yeah, okay. Any other questions from the audience? Yeah, Akhila.
Good afternoon. My name is Akila, completed my BCom, and currently I'm doing a internship. My question is, when I started internship, I faced two difficulties in working. Whatever we've learned here, we're not able to apply that workplace. We are just given theoretical knowledge. And at workplace, we're expected to be ready to know how to work. So is there any way that technology is used to tell students that what is actually happening in the world and how that relates to our studies?
I think everybody wants ready-made stuff in this world. Now, Akila, that's what you said your name, right? When you were in standard first, you thought first standard was very difficult. But when you came to standard 10, you thought first, second, third is so easy. When you moved to your 11th and 12th, you thought 10th was so easy. When you moved to your graduation, you thought 11th, 12th is so pretty, right? Now, that's what experience and learning does. Makes things easier as you start progressing. So if you don't know what's happening at work, and if people don't know what to tell you what you need to do, it's their problem, not your problem. But what you need to do, definitely, is not to take that pressure on you that, oh, I need to know, I need to be prepared. Of course, you don't need to be prepared. I mean, when you're in first standard, you would not know what is happening in 10th standard. But when you're in 10th standard, you would know what happened in first standard, right? Likewise, take every day as it comes, keep learning, keep growing, keep asking questions, and move on. I think things should fall in place. No amount of technology is going to help you, and don't overburden yourself with technology. I mentioned this some time back that information overload is a bigger pandemic, and this is what information overload does.
Just to add what earlier the panel said, the IQ, the EQ, and the SQ. Akila, today, most of the employers also looking at one more Q that has come is called the learning quotient. We have said that we can't completely get ready and go, right? Every one of us learn. So the question is, do you have an ability to learn? And that is easily tested today. The interviewing panel is getting smarter as they keep seeing. If you demonstrate that you are a person, you can learn, I think that's good enough. And you will learn as you progress in your job.
Yep, that's right. I think I understand Shivakumar from BMS Women's College wants to, let's unmute Shivakumar.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, Shivakumar.
Yeah, sir. Good morning and good afternoon. At the outset, I congratulate our BMS College for that management institution. Congratulate for organizing a wonderful panel discussion. I have been listening to the discussion by sitting in the library, and in the chat box, I too have put some what I can say information about that. Of course, as the panelists, they made a mention about the future education, and they were all explaining about how we have spent our 9 months time in this pandemic situation. So what I would like to add my remarks here is technology, of course, it has become inevitable in the present scenario. But what I would like to say here, technology gives energy. Sometimes it is allergy. How to find synergy? So we have to find synergy in the present scenario. And you are all making a mention about emotional quotient, spiritual quotient. Of course, that matters a lot, sir. What we are finding at present is values are eradicating like that. So for that, I have put money comes and goes, morality comes and grows. And another thing, as you are making a mention about communication, that really matters a lot, sir. And of course, to put it in Kannada, ಮಾತು ಬಲ್ಲವನಿಗೆ ಜಗಳವಿಲ್ಲ, ಊಟ ಬಲ್ಲವನಿಗೆ ರೋಗವಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಒಲಿಗೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದ್ರೆ ಬಟ್ಟೆ ಚಂದ, ಮಾತು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದ್ರೆ ಬದುಕು ಚಂದ ಅಂತ. So of course, technology gives all those things, but we should have that human interaction, human touch that matters a lot, sir. And as you are making a mention about communication, information is like an ocean. I always say, being a teacher, information is like an ocean, and we have to make dissemination of information, which leads to transformation and ultimately reformation. There matters your good communication. Anyway, thanks for the opportunity for expressing some of my views here, sir. So much is there to talk, but one thing, what you have made a mention, all the panelists, and one more point you made a mention, pressure. Sir made a mention about pressure. I always say, though there is a pressure, we have to work with pleasure. But for students, I tell, you have to learn with pleasure, and you have to earn some treasure, and life has no leisure. And we cannot keep quiet. Do not sit like a rock, work like a clock. However, Narendra Modi ji, such a wonderful prime minister of this country, all the countries have declared that he is one of the best prime ministers of the world. Like him, we have to work and make our country to what I can say, our country flag should flourish. And I always tell my students, whatever the activity you take, you should flourish, you have to cherish. It is my wish, you should be ever push. There should be a lot of rush and push. And to keep our mind and body, we have to put good dish for physical body, and dish as a knowledge for this mind also. Thank you very much for expressing my views, sir.
Amazing, sir.
It's interesting to know we have a poet in BMS College that I was never. Yes, Nitesh, you want to say something?
No, I'm very impressed. And Shiv Kumar sir, the way you expressed your thoughts, I just loved listening to you, and I would like to meet you in person sometime. And yes, rightly said by Hitesh, we see a beautiful poet in making, or for all you know, you're already a poet. And you very beautifully, you've told us students, and of course all of us, to also have some amount of love for the country. You know, sorry, एक चीज मुझे याद आ रही है, and in India sometimes we study a lot, and we work hard so that we can leave the country and go and work in a different country. So from this platform, I would also urge my students to develop that love for the nation and contribute to the development of the country. You know, technology, very good. You know, advancements, very, very good. Future ready, yes. But give it back to the society and the country too. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Nitesh sir. And just a quick housekeeping announcement for all the participants who have joined us via Zoom. Make sure you fill out the feedback survey forms because that will help us enable an e-certificate. I don't know. I mean, we have spoken a lot about certification today, but and nonetheless, we'll go ahead and issue an e-certificate to you for the participation today. I would like to call upon Sandeep for proposing a formal vote of thanks. Yeah.
Our most esteemed guest on the panel, Principal Sir, faculty members, staff, and audience who has joined us here also from the online platform. My privilege to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. I, Sandeep, on behalf of Corporate Communication, Career Development Department, and BMSCCM, would like to extend a very heartily vote of thanks to all the panelists for time from your respective schedule to grace this kind of event. Big thank you to Dr. Harikrishna Maran sir, finding also put us. I would request to hand over Dr. Harikrishna Maran. Thank you, sir. I thank Mr. Vineet Reddy sir for being here despite a busy schedule and sharing your kind words of wisdom. Lead us to think harder, smarter. I kindly request Principal sir to hand over a token of that. Thanks, sir. Mr. Gautam Shri sir, thank you for sharing your valuable insights throughout this panel discussion, especially from the recruiter point of view. Thank you, sir. And I would request Hitesh Akrat sir to kindly receive a token. Sir, thank you for your invaluable experience that you shared, especially in the innovation you're building. It's going to help us, especially faculty members, a lot contributing. I kindly request Hitesh Akrat sir again to take a moment from the floor. Thank you. And I'll also thank Mr. Nitish sir for his energy and your guidance, especially to our teachers. Thanks a lot, sir. And
Thank you.
Since sir is a very so sir is excited me on behalf, sir.
I accept it. Pankaj, you can keep it with you.
So we are all inspired by your great words here today, sir. And I also thank all the students, teachers who are all present here and also has joined us from different platforms. I'm sure that we have taken a lot away from this discussion. Thank you for all being a part of this event today. And also make a small note that especially people who are joining us online, please click on the link and give us a feedback so that we'll be able to give us it. All right. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to place on record our heartily thanks to our moderator, of the panel discussion, Mr. Hitesh Takasa, for supporting and guidance he has extended to all of us in conducting this event. I would request Principal Sir to hand over a token of gratitude to Takasa. I would kindly request Dr. Manantesh sir and a token of gratitude to our principal sir. Thank you, sir. Well, event like this cannot happen overnight, right? So the wheels start rolling weeks ago. It requires planning and a bird's view for detail. We have been fortunate enough to be backed by a team of very motivated colleagues of BMSCCM, as well as the students of BMSC, who are instrumental in making this event a grand success. I cannot thank everyone enough for the involvement and willingness to take on the completion of the task. To our dear panelists and everyone present here, as well as the people who have joined us online, once again, I want to state that we are utmost grateful to you all. We thank you for being with us for this particular event. It has been a thank you, one and all.
Sorry, before I leave you, the point I wanted to make, you know, I have utmost sincere gratitude to express for BMS college team. Just about a month ago, this whole event was an idea in my head, and then he extended his unconditional support and the superb execution ability of the team, whether it is Sandeep, Preeti, Kiran, Sharad, and all of them, Kumar as well. Without you guys, without the amazing support that you guys extended, and this event would not have been possible. All that you have done, and I hope that Pankaj sir will agree that we'll try and bring you many more of such. Thank you so much. Okay.